Evening, David.
Evening, Peter.
How are you? That was slick. That was very slick edit there where I come on. And then, how are you getting on?
I'm okay. I was just making sure you're still in Shetland after that
wind
we had.
Back home, got back for EL. We've been having all the house done with all the insulation. So we've not managed to get the blinds up yet. So that's why you can see it's dark outside tonight. So
dark everywhere.
Good evening, Christiana and Jennifer in Melbourne. Ladies and gentlemen, lovely of you to join us tonight. This is Tartan Tunes, Scottish Sessions, where we always bring on a couple of cracking guests every week. And Davey and I will guide you through the night, and we'll get a good chat with the guests and some great music.
It's not always two guests, though.
Sometimes we have one guest. But we've got one guest next week, and we're going to tell you all about that.
Later.
We'll tell you later. Because we're going to start telling you in advance nowadays who we are. Because that'll give you more time to decide. I am going to share with wonderful numbers joining us tonight already, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep sharing for us. That would be fantastic. If you enjoy Scottish music, we have got the top drawer stuff for you tonight. We've got John Burns, an ex-Scottish champion accordion player, on where's the first hour. And we've got Emmett Conway from Ireland, originally Northern Ireland, but now the pipe major of Shots and Dykehead Pipe Band, and he's got an amazing story for a young fellow already to get to where he's got to. So really looking forward to having two great competing, but also great musicians, and just playing a lot of dance music and all sorts of things coming for you. So please keep your comments coming in, folks. Let us know where you all are. There's Ali Meek. Ali Meek is always here. We can always rely on Ali.
So, the stories I could tell you.
But listen, it's been pretty bad weather, as you happen to point out. But do you know something? I think you got the weather worse than we did. And Shetland for a change. And the other thing is, you have trees, and trees blow down, whereas in Shetland we don't have trees to blow down very much.
There's less trees than us.
Yeah, exactly. But I did the wee track I'm going to play. We've got a couple of tracks first before we bring John on, but the second one is a wee track. And I took some footage of the sea yesterday, and that to let folks see that it just wasn't all. I think sometimes folk think Shetland's just sunny all the time because I put all these nice videos with sun and things. But it does have its bad days.
Here's the main road round the corner from where I live.
Oh yeah, we have got snow. There's snow here today as well. The kids have had a great day. They've got sledges.
No, it's more the tree that's across the road.
Oh, is that a tree? Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
See, as I said, we had trees.
Yeah, that was just not trees. Anyway, listen, it's going to be. Remember Robert Whitehead we had on from Northumberland? They're going to where Robert lost a bit of his roof last night in his house. It was a nuisance.
I know a good joiner.
Who is it?
Pal of Ali's.
And put Derek Ray, the accordion player as well. He had a tree came crashing down on top of his boat that was sitting in his drive. That was a nuisance as well. But anyway,
if the boat was in the water, we wouldn't have that problem.
Bar that, here's a wee track that Dale Johnson from Braemar Media sent us. We done this a while ago, and it was one that was kind of missing that we thought we'd done. And it's you and the big whistle, and me in the box, in the Queen's area, whatever it was, the Queen's area of the showground.
No, this is outside the.
Oh, that's right. No, we weren't. We were outside the other bit, the shop.
Yeah.
And
the cafe.
The cafe. And you decided to play Hector the Hero, didn't you? And it's a right body tune. So let's have it.
Nice tune.
Here we go. Here's Hector.
You let me burst into tears in that there, that one.
That was sad. That made me quite sad. That was quite a sad song.
Wasn't that bad?
And you were sitting there looking like, oh, James. But it's a bonny tune. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep sharing the book. Keep sharing the book. It's brilliant.
While we're on it, we have 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
Is this the 3 mugs? Is that it? 3 mugs of the Collector's Tartan Tune mug. Here's your wee advert for a mug. Here we go. Cool. The collector's mugs. That's the wee tune that Leonard Brown wrote for me called Peter Wood's Tartan Tune. Bonnie wee 2/4 march. We forgot to tell the lads that were on, but maybe they're listening, that sometimes it sounds like the music starts fast on the platform, but folk don't hear that, so don't worry. Anyway.
While I'm at it, a bit of self-promotion. You can get my book for £7 until the end of the day on that website.
Really? £7?
£7. It costs more to bloody post it.
That's a bargain, though. I play a lot of Davy's tunes out of his book, and it's a great collection of pipe stuff. So if you're looking for some pipey tunes, Davy's the man to get. And if you're looking to bring a book out ever, get in touch with Davy, because he's done both my books now. Actually, we'll speak to Mr. Burns about that later on, because he's got some amazing compositions, that man. Right. He's got a lot of them now. It's time he had a book out, actually. Right. Anyway, here we go. Right. So here is this wee quick video. This was the band. We were playing a wee gig on Monday night for a wee dance club. Well, the trio. 3 years. Andy Kane and Graham Jimison and myself. And I put some videos in quickly just to let you see the sea in Shetland. Do you know what I meant there?
There's no C in Shetland. There's an S.
Yeah, okay. It was a wee bit blowy. So, yeah, I got that there. Nice sea in Shetland. I get it. Okay, right, that's good. Right, so here we go. We set for you. Couple of jigs. There we go. So there was a wee bit of wind. There was a wee bit of wind, but as I said earlier, no trees that you guys don't should get to falling things. So that was that. So, but very good. But anyway, I hope everybody's biding safe out there. Please share about. It's wonderful if you hit the share button for us. It's been an up and down time. That was about the first gig we'd really played for a dance club in a long, long time, a couple of years. And then, of course, we get the news that there's this new variant kicking about or something. So let's hope that comes to nothing.
What's the difference between tartan tunes and COVID?
Oh, I don't know.
We don't mind if you share this.
Yeah. We don't mind if you say that. I like it. Right, let's get a guest on. This is an amazing guest, an amazing accordion player I have known for many, many, many years that we're going to speak about. And I mind being a wee boy listening to these guys. And
is he older than you?
I think he must be actually. Just but don't tell anybody. But I remember listening to John and his brother George. We'll speak about that and as we go along. But let's bring it on. The one and only Mr. John Burns. Hey, John.
Hello. How you doing?
We're good. We're good. Did you like that wee intro?
Not really.
No.
No enough.
Listen, it's magic to have you on the show with Davey and ourselves here. You're not from Kilsyth originally, though, are you? You were from Cumbernauld, were you not?
Cumbernauld, yes. I was.
I think you were.
Not many people know this, but I was born in Carrick Chase in Staffordshire.
Right?
I didn't move to Scotland until I was 4.
Oh, really?
So there we go.
Well, there you go. Even I didn't ken that. There's another exclusive for Tartan Tunes, another exclusive.
Now, if John had a book out, it would have said in the book.
That's right. John, if you had a book of your tunes, we're going to have to speak about that at some point because there's an awful lot of folk asking nowadays. So, anyway, listen, brilliant having you on. As I say, the first time I ever saw you playing was when we were all very youngsters, and you and your brother came to play at Lismahago accordion and Fiddle Club, my local club. Big Jack Gray used to organise it, and he'd heard of this two boys called the Burns Brothers, and he got them to the club.
That was that'd been the 80s, early 80s, I think. So, maybe 81 or something like that.
Yeah, and you two guys used to do a lot of duet stuff at that point as well. And
that's right. That's
continental Scottish, everyone, a lot.
That's right. Who
taught you guys then? who was it taught you guys?
We went to a guy called Willie Campbell. In Larbert. We only went for 3 years. I never had a sort of after that. It's been kind of self-taught.
Right. Okay.
We kind of rub off on each other. But the advantage you have in the two is you've got somebody to practice the language and get the second box going and all that. It's a bit harder when you're trying to learn that. Just play records along yourself and stuff. So
and the thing is,
just 3 years at least.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're still playing together to this day and still put up with each other. So it's good.
Aye. I mean, I'm playing with loads of other folk as well, but I still play with George as well, you know. So
yeah. So we're going to have a wee quick track of music here. This is Glasgow Accordion and Fiddle Club. This is yourself with a band. I think there's some well-kent faces in here, and I think it tells us at the beginning. But it's a couple of marches, I think. So we'll maybe play these and then have a wee blether about them after it. How's that sound?
Aye. No problem.
It's always good that because you can't remember what you've played, you see. So if you do it this way, then you can go, aye. All right. No bother. Here we go. Here's a couple of marches.
Cheers.
This is what happened when Peter's involved.
That's what happens when I load the videos, John. I forget to edit things.
Well, I'm not hearing nothing. It's very stop-start, so I missed most of that. So I never really heard
Oh, did you? Is it stop starting with you? It's all right. It sounded absolutely brilliant. And there's loads and loads. There's loads of good comments coming in. The thing is, folks, sometimes when you watch these things back, see when it actually loads up afterwards, if you watch it back, you'll find that it doesn't stop that. There's more. I don't know how it works. It's somebody will the way it loads up onto the internet. But when you do it live, sometimes some folk get a good signal and some folk don't, and that. But are you going to tell us how it works, David?
No.
No.
It's no that type of show.
Listen, brilliant seeing so many comments coming in there saying hello to John and that. Mind and keep your comments coming in, folks. It's brilliant when we catch up with old folks and we've not seen.
I like this comment. I like this one.
Yeah, I see that one.
I don't even know who that is.
You're supposed to say, "Oh, I do." Anyway, tell me. The competition thing with you got into the competition and you still kind of are.
Well, I've done it when I was younger. I've done it for a while and then I kind of packed it in for maybe about 10 years and then I just got the urge to have a go again and try and see how I would go in against one of the young ones again, you know. So, and I've just kept going.
Yeah. But you did win the Scottish Championship. What year did you win the Scottish Championship?
1999.
1999. Right. Did you enjoy competing in Queensland? Did you like it?
I know you get a buzz, but it's obviously a bit nerve-wracking. But once you're sitting on the stage, you're very isolated, and it's just you, and you get the feeling everybody's just listening for mistakes, you know, and which they are in a way.
It's funny because I liked being part of a band or an ensemble kind of style thing, but I didn't really like the solo thing when I was there.
Right. So when you do the band competition and all, you do feel a bit protected by the fellow band members. It gives you a bit more confidence, you know. And you're probably playing tunes that aren't as tricky in the band than these bloody competition marches and stuff, you know.
And do you do a bit of teaching yourself now as well? Do you?
I've not got a lot of people. It's just a few, just to keep the wolf for the door, and quite a lot of older people in that. As long as everybody's enjoying it, I enjoy teaching.
Yeah, so you're not specifically teaching just for folk to compete. Then really, it's just for
nothing like that. No. I've not really got any youngsters come. Well, I've got a young boy the new, but he's just really starting. So I've not got any that's at the kind of competition level or anything.
There's that buddy saying they played with you twice at Campsie Club and managed one lesson.
I played with you twice and managed one lesson.
Well, there you go. The plot thickens. Right, anyway, but listen, what I think we'll have a wee set for you here. Was this the one you put in last year for the senior traditional?
Aye, that was. It wasn't this year. It was 2020. Aye.
So it's just to give the folks at home an idea. You've heard John with the band there. You're going to hear him solo just now and see how versatile this guy is and different style of music, John, because it's competition, March the Steering Wheel. So you know what you would play. And it's not everybody that's good at playing both, but you are.
Well, so I know. And the fact that you have to record it, I know, makes it a bit different. Rather than doing it live, you know, you can record it as many times as you like till you get it right, you know. Whereas a live thing, you get one go at it, which I actually prefer. You know?
I agree.
Yeah, because you could be all day, couldn't you? I mean,
and you start getting too fussy. You're determined to get one perfect, so you end up recording it hour and hour and hour again. You know,
having to phone your pals and say you can't come to the pub because you're sitting recording this Saturday.
No, I don't take it that serious. No.
Anyway, here, this is your March to Steering Wheel.
Okay.
You put in a couple of years ago. Brilliant. Whoa. There's a lot of notes on there, John. There's a lot of notes.
There is indeed.
John did promise us. John did promise us Flight of the Bumblebee as well at some point.
Oh yeah,
Flight of the Bumblebee. I'll do that for the next show.
Live, he said. He says, I don't want to record that one, I want to get live. I noticed Gordon Haddo saying hello to you there, John, and saying great play. And I think Gordon's coming up to be guest artist at the Shetland Accordion Club next week, I think.
Yep, they sure are. She was worried about how to get her. She was worried about how to get her box up when they played with it, getting it smashed into 100 bits, you know.
Oh yeah, just talk nice to the pilot. don't upset anybody. But great, no, that's as you said, there's a lot of youngsters coming up through just now that's cracking players as well, playing all that competition.
Aye, you just look at Gordon Shan's, the whole family of them, you know.
Yeah.
We are there at a very high standard.
Very high standard. But do you not think way back when you were saying, like, so the first time you started competing in that, those big numbers, remember some of the sections used to have 50 folk in them?
That's right. You know, you wonder what level they were all at. I mean, there must have been folk in it that weren't very good. I don't know, but they surely weren't all good. But you wonder how the adjudicator could mind what the first ones had done by the time you got to the end, you know.
No. It must have been quite a challenge at one point in time. At least it wasn't a set piece, that was even worse. If it's a set piece, imagine listening to a set piece for 20 in a row or something. Gee whiz. But anyway, so you kept at the box, you kept working away. But as I said, with you and George, you've done a lot of continental stuff in that as well, and you enjoyed playing that stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, it was just sort of for the accordion clubs and that, just something
Yeah.
different. George really still, he's more into the continental than he is into the Scottish, actually. So we've always, because there's twos, we always had the opportunity to learn the duet stuff, you know. So I think some of the stuff when we first started, it was stuff that had already been arranged as a duet, but we've ended up with just arrange everything ourselves, you know.
And then, I mean, you've composed a few continental numbers yourself as well, haven't you?
I have composed, I don't know, maybe about 7 or 8 continentals.
Yeah, but that's
kind of French ones and a couple of kind of Scandinavian type things and all.
Yeah, because I mean, quite often you get a composer composing the traditional stuff, but to actually get into composing good quality stuff like you do is quite unusual. So it's good. And but it's building up to this next week's act. We've actually got you and George playing here. It was a thing. Was it in Glasgow, the accordion showcase?
That was an accordion showcase. It was Roy Henry that was organising these things.
Yeah.
And the idea was he had 6 acts, and they were all doing different styles of playing. You know, Ian McPhail was doing the Scottish dance band. Liam Stewart was doing the kind of electronic thing. Paddy Callan was doing the folky thing. So it was different. We were meant to be doing the continental, but we ended up playing some 2/4 marches and all. Just
some 2/4 marches with a French accent.
Get the hell out of it.
This is a tune that we've got you guys playing that was written by David Halcrow, wasn't it, from Shetland?
Aye, and he was kind enough to give me the music for it, so we learned that. Actually, it was the winning entry in the tune. People know how the band comes up when they do the tune competition, and the band has to judge it. So that was the winning entry. So it was originally called tune number 14.
Yeah, tune number 14.
Catchy.
And then considering when you're saying you've got 7 or 8 continental numbers yourself, that could be a different section in your book when you bring it out. You could have the trad section, and then you could have the continental section.
I don't know if
I'm selling this for you, John. I'm selling it.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
I'll sell it. Listen, we'll have the book out by the end of the show. Yeah, we'll get good. Right, here's this off of Bonnie Continental Waltz. Brilliant. It's a lovely sound, that, John. Lovely sound.
Thanks very much. Aye.
And you can tell the two of you have been playing together all your life, really, because you just click together. Works.
Aye.
Did you always?
Sorry.
Did you always get on well when you were playing together?
Aye. We've never been ones for fighting at all. So there was never a case of trying to outdo each other or anything like that, you know.
No.
Inadvertently, we would end up going to the pub, you know. So
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Play together and we drink together. So
yeah, it's great. And then obviously you built up the band over the years, and you've been doing broadcasts on BBC for Take the Floor and things like that. You've done quite a number now.
aye.
So and of course you're playing with a lot of other bands as well.
I play second box with quite a few other bands as well, and I've obviously got the full Scottish with Nicky McMeekin, so him and I share the lead on that one as well. So
yeah, and of course Nicky's up here in Shetland now as well. Is it posted?
Yes, aye. Yes, he still gets doing fairly regular though.
Aye. He seems to be working away up here, and but yeah, the full Scottish was a great setup as well. They're a nice band, and gives you a chance to do something different as well, doesn't it? That's just
aye. Well, I've been asked today. I take the floor under my own name, so it's the John Burns Scottish Dance Band. So that's coming up on Christmas Day, believe it or not. So
right, Christmas Day.
So
what a present!
A whole different lineup. It's just, I think she'd seen me playing a lot of the stuff on the internet, on the Facebook. So and she was looking for somebody to do some Christmas stuff, Jennifer. So a couple of Christmas friends in amongst it. So see how it goes.
Fantastic. Oh, brilliant. At least it's not on the internet like this that you don't have to dress up as Santa Claus or something. Because you did have a wee fight about who was the elf with the green tights on and all that. I never made a very good elf.
No, I wouldn't have thought. You would have been a good Santa though.
I get the occasional job now as a Santa. We were going up yesterday. I had a wee job yesterday as Santa, and my wee boy Angus, he's 6, and we're going up in the car, and he says, "Dad," he says, "some folk that has to be Santa has to put cushions up their jumper." And I said, "Do I need to put some cushions up my jumper?" And he says, "No, you're all right, Dad. You're fine." That was it.
Peter, did I ever see you in an elf costume with a high-vis vest?
No.
No, that was Elf and Safety.
Oh, no, Elf and Safety. Davey comes in with these sometimes. John, just laugh.
I was.
Great talking about the internet thing and what we've all had to do in the last couple of years, and it's been really odd and it's been really strange. But at least we saw you up here. Was that about a month ago? 6 weeks ago you were up mine.
That was when the festival. That was during when the festival should have been on.
Yeah, man, you come up and with that 1 week concert that night and saw each other. Yeah, but until that point, we had to do all this internet stuff and joining up stuff. And this is one you put together with a 6-piece band. Was this for Perth? Was this Perth? This one?
I can't remember if it was Perth or Musselburgh. I think it was Perth. I think it was Perth last year. Again,
we've just shown our age again, John. Musselburgh, talking about Musselburgh.
Well, it's still, people still call it Musselburgh. Aye.
Yeah, the competition's not been in Musselburgh for how long now? About 20 years or something like that.
I think it moved in the 2008 or something. It moved, I think, something like that. So.
Unbelievable, eh? There we go.
And one year in the Dublin Hydro.
For one of the competitions, who's all playing with you here in this one? We've got. Can you mind?
Well, it'd be Graham Crichton on the drums.
Yeah.
It was Alistair MacLeod on the bass. Stuart Cameron, is he on the piano?
I think so. I think you're right.
Craig Payton on the second box.
Oh yeah, we had Craig on the show as well. Not long ago.
Who am I missing?
Fiddle
Was Wee Neil Ferguson, wasn't it? I think.
Was it Neil? Is it right? Okay. I think is that Neil that's playing with you in one of the videos we're seeing later on, the one for the gap mode.
Aye, it is. Aye.
Right. Okay, well, here we go. And watch Graham Crichton kind of looks here. He looks like he's doing a wee bit of disco dancing at the beginning of this, and then he joins in. It's quite interesting. But there's a cracking medley, so enjoy this at home, folks. Keep sharing about. Keep the comments coming in. If you've got any questions you want to ask John or anything, please do. And that's one thing I wanted to ask you, John. You've got a CD out with the Bums Brothers band, haven't you?
Aye. All fingers and thumbs. That's the name of it.
Oh, brilliant! Good name for a box player's album. That All Fingers.
I thought that was a review.
If you pop onto the Bums Brothers website, which John's not very sure if you can actually buy the CD from there, but you'll be able to make contact with them anyway. And George will sort you out with something if you drop them a line. They've got a cracking CD out. Lovely CD, and I'm sure you'll fair enjoy it. But here's this wee set for the open bands. Very good playing. Very good arranging, very good playing. I think Craig Payton, see what the night Craig was on, he played a couple of videos and he was sitting in that same pair of shorts. Is that all he wore for the Halo lockdown?
Probably.
He likes to be comfy when he's playing. Sitting in his own house. No.
Yeah, quite right. Yeah, that's what it's about.
That was all Phil Cunningham tunes. That whole set was Phil Cunningham.
I was going to ask you about that. So the whole set was Phil's tunes. Right, okay.
It was actually a set. I was going to be competing up at Oban in the solos, and they pick a writer, a composer every year to play, and it was him. But the competition got hot in the heat, so I just used the set to do the band thing. So it was already sitting. So that's how that came about.
Well, I must admit that accordion's playing an awful lot. It seems to be playing a lot better since you got it than when I had it, that one.
It probably just sat in the cupboard when you had it.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, I had the two of them. That was the problem, and I kept playing the other one, and then it's no fair, is it? It's kind of like having two dunks and just clapping one of them.
Well, I've got 4 accordions now, and it's how do you decide what one to play? You know, so, but they're all different. They're all good in their own way. You know, so.
Yeah, I know. We can't help it, can we? It's when you can't get up the stairs for them or something. It gets a bit out of your hand. But great. So, are you doing much playing just now at all, or is there much coming in again? Or?
It's just starting to gather. Well, me and George playing a French band, I know, called Les Trois Blondes. That's guy Fergus Wood on the drums. He speaks French, which is good for he does all the spiel. So we do concerts and we do like French cafes and all that as well, and French restaurants.
What was that band called?
Les Trois Blondes, which means the 3 blondes. But in French, it could be 3 beers. If you go to a bar and ask for Les Trois Blondes, you get 3 pints of lager. So that's
or 3 blondes.
Or 3 blondes.
Well,
depends on the bar.
Depends what you have when you ask for it.
That's great though that you can do that kind of thing, so you're getting a chance to do different stuff and that.
I mean, it's amazing. We do some of this stuff for these music. We've just done one down in Howick last week. We were at Bristol about 2 months ago, and in a couple of weeks we're out in Rothsay playing the French. It's these music societies, and it's we're on the books of kind of a classical one of these agents. So we're doing it in a band. Don't call yourself a band, call yourself an ensemble, she says. So that's what we are.
Sorry about that. That was my
or in French, that's an ensemble.
Yeah.
The dog decided to bark at me for some reason. I don't know why.
I can understand that.
Oh, there we go. That's how it goes. And you were telling me before we came in here, you were playing at St Andrews night last night.
Aye, St Andrews night. We do that every year, I know, and it's they have some Greeks and some Russians there because St Andrews is the patron saint of Greece and Russia as well. So I've always got to play a wee bit of Greek music and a wee bit of Russian music.
Yeah, and you were saying
borscht, soup, roast lamb, and then it was a Greek. It was baklava for dessert. So yeah, there we go.
Baklava, yum.
What was the first thing?
Borscht. It's like beetroot soup.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, and you were saying it was easier to find the Russian music than some of the Greek stuff.
Aye, the Greek music's a bit hard to get stuff that you want to play. I think it's kind of complicated music. Some of it just a handful of notes. It doesn't really go anywhere. So
to be fair, did they not play most of that on a balalaika with like 3 strings?
That's right. It was Zorba the Greek. That's obviously the famous one, but I didn't want to tackle that.
Is Zorba the Greek actually a Greek tune though? I wonder if it is, or is it one of the film things?
Was it a film? What film was it again? Was it one of the gangster films or something?
No, I don't know. Because I mind Jimmy Burgess the other night. There was a whole bunch of Russians in, and he decided to play them Dr. Zhivago.
Oh, aye.
And none of them knew it at all, and many of them had never seen the film ever. Never my tellies, nobody had seen nothing. They went, oh, look at him as if to say, what's that all about? So, oh, look at that. Look, Zorba the Greek was written by Davies on the ball here. See on the rocker. I see. But listen, John, it's been brilliant having you on, but we're going to have it all reset here. This was
the railway thing, and there was cameras here, there, and everywhere, and a sound guy. And we only had so long to do it because one of the cameramen was going away. He worked for the BBC and he was filming the Dundee United game later that day. In the morning. So we played for 4 hours. And we to sit, it was a funny bit as well. We to just sit and speak. He wanted to, footage of us just sitting talking to one another. So while he was up in front of the screen talking, it looked like we were. But if you watch the video, you see it just loops. It's the same bit hour and hour again. So we got paid for that. We got paid for that, and when they got broadcast again, we got paid again for it for the same thing. So,
excellent. That's good.
They put that on and Hogmanay on a big screen in the hall and charged people door entry to get in.
Right.
Well,
Davies edited this one this time, so we're not going to have the same thing as I did before, where I forgot to edit it. But I found a wee Dashing White Sergeant in the middle of this, folks. I think it was the Dashing White Sergeant, the Tusker, and Harvest Home. I think you were playing. And it doesn't look like there's no audience. It looks like you're having a good time, so it's fine.
And we're to play 4 hours with putting a sheet of music up in front of us because they weren't wanting music getting in the road. So everything was just off the top of the heat.
Well, did they let you have a beer, or were you allowed a beer or anything like that? Or? No.
Nothing at all.
Not good. Right, here it is. Here's the Dashing White Sergeant, folks. You'll love this.
Cheers.
They did a good job of editing that there, though. The dancers were in the right place.
Impressive, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
I did a good job at it. So it was quite a good experience, but it's funny playing to an empty hall, but there we go. That was even before COVID.
Well, there we go, folks. You can see what these guys can do. They can do anything. Only know in month till Hogmanay, says Maureen. This music will put you in the mood. All right, that's perfect. And there's Joe and Orkney saying that he's fair enjoying it as well. The Burns Brother Ceilidh Band, there's the website, folks. If you're looking for a Ceilidh band, these are the guys to get a hold of. They'll keep you lively all night. If you're looking for some French music, you can book them. You can book these guys for Russian music, Greek music, French music, anything you fancy. But give them a shout. It'd be delightful for them to get back out there and get a bit playing in again. It's good for us all to get out and keep us going. But John, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you very much for having us, and I'm sure I'll see you the next time I'm up the road.
Yeah, well, you're a frequent visitor to Shetland. You're a frequent visitor.
Sure am, so we'll be up unfortunately.
Yeah, and of course you unfortunately lost Drew Hoyt. The late Drew Hoyt. And Drew was a great pal of yours, and you used to go up and see him all the time. And he's a real miss up here, to be honest. But good memories and a lot of funny stories with Drew over the years. So
but I'm going to keep coming up regardless. So
good. That's excellent.
We'll get rid of me that easy.
All right, okay, that's right.
Well, but an early plug, we're booked to play at the festival next year. The Burns Brother.
Fantastic. There you go. That's brilliant. That's good to hear. We're down in Glasgow, so we'll hopefully get to see you maybe at the end of January or something, catch up somewhere. That'd be good.
So I might be coming to the park bar. That'd be good.
Sounds good. Brilliant. Take care. Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Pleasure.
Thanks, man. Cheers, man. Great. Yeah, some nice lively dance music there tonight. Yeah.
Oh, aye.
Some point, there's Amy saying, brilliant, John. Brilliant. Fair enjoyed it. What are you thinking about? I can see the light bulb moment going there. Tell us, David, who's the next guest that we've got coming on?
We have one of Northern Ireland's greatest exports in piping.
Ooh.
We have the former pipe major of the New Zealand Police Pipe Band.
Magic.
The current pipe major of the world famous Shotts and Dyke Head Pipe Band.
Yeah, and he's still quite a young fellow, isn't he?
And he's younger than me.
Yeah, well, if he's younger than you, he must be a hell of a lot younger than me. So kind of amazing to get this chap on. So tell us, who have we got coming on?
Legend, we have Mr. Emmett Conway.
Hello, sir.
How you doing, guys? Good to be on.
How's it going?
Aye, good, thanks.
So, what's been up? What are you up to these days?
Working away, keeping the band going as well. We're back at it twice a week, and obviously it's past 20 odd months with COVID's been there for all pipe bands, really, all musicians. But we're back at it really this past 3 months, twice a week. So going hard at it for next year.
You've been back that long then. So do you still practice? When do you practice in shots?
We're practicing in shots, just obviously with some guidelines in place and ventilation and all that. There's been no real guidance from really the government around what we can and cannot do. So we're just taking initiative and trying our best to make it happen and not lose any more time, really.
It's a good way to keep folk away that you don't want near the practices, because you can just tell them, sorry, government guidelines says you're not allowed here. So it's one way of keeping the undesirable. You just tell who you want to come. It's okay, you can come.
It's no longer you're dropped. It's no, the government says no.
Aye, no. But it is. I must say, it's a pain because you're trying your best. Obviously, you have to take everybody's, health and equation, and then obviously you have to take into consideration that we're hoping for there to be next year. So you can't let this trap. We've already lost 2 years, and you have 2 years to make up. But we also have to take into consideration people's health and the people around us. So it's kind of catch-22. We just have to put the best, speak as a band, talk as a band, and see what we can do. Everybody's happy to do. So we're back at it. Say we've tried everything, smaller groups, basic hygiene, ventilation, you name it. We're trying everything at the minute. So, but seems thankfully all's going well on the practice front.
Well, I mean, fingers crossed we get a season next year and things, and see what's happening again, because it's been a while.
It's needed. It's definitely needed.
Had you still been in New Zealand, which we'll talk about later on, you'd probably been practicing right through, nearly.
Well, that's the thing. It's done a U-turn over there. I think at the minute, they're out of a lockdown now. But a couple of months ago, they were shut up, and they've actually called off their 2022 season. So it's kind of, at the start, Australia and New Zealand, they were still competing. Everybody's going online trying to just hear some sort of live pipe bands. And then all of a sudden, this past, I think, 3 or 4 months, Australia and New Zealand was hit with a lot smaller cases, but they closed it up. A lot more stricter with the rules, closed it up. And then just like I say, they didn't take any chance because there's that much planning involved of same any event that they just took the punt till call it off.
Yeah. Well, folks out there, this is fantastic having Emmett on tonight. Can you keep sharing, folks, especially to any of your pipe band friends that you know out there that will be interested in the show tonight. We're wanting to take you back, sir, right to the beginning, which was interesting because it was a band that I used to really enjoy listening to, was Ballinderry Bridge. And I believe that you were a local to that. Tell us a wee bit about that. Is that when you learned to play the pipes from that band? Or?
Yes. Yep, that's right. Kind of 2003, I decided I want to learn the pipes. My uncle's a piper in the band. My father used to be a drummer in the band, and I was ninth generation coming through Ballinderry Bridge pipe band. So I was never ever pushed into it. Although I think my father always wanted to see me playing the pipes, he never ever mentioned it to me. I picked up the practice chant down here and started learning from Uncle Martin Conway, who lived next door. So I get no excuse for not making practices and lessons. So the story started there. And then at the stage where I was on the pipes and learning the pipe beat, he started teaching me the kind of band style. And like I say, my first season was in grade 2 in 2004. I think it was 13, 12 or 13.
Wow.
And
that's young to be playing in a grade 2 band.
The band. Yeah, and the band done well that year. The band won 3 or 4 years. Going the Scottish, European, the British, and the Worlds that year in grade 2. So then the following year they'd been promoted to grade 1. So it was a good year to join.
And did Rab Lennox not play with the band? Did Rab play with Ballinderry Bridge as well? Did he not?
Who was that? Sorry.
Rab Lennox, the big Rab show. Big Rab. Did Rab not play with Ballinderry Bridge?
He did. That was before my time. He did do a stint on the bridge, yeah. Right.
I thought he did. I mind coming on one night and he talked about Ballinderry Bridge and that. There you go. Somebody's remembering you. Yeah, there we go. Listen, I found online, I found a video of Ballinderry Bridge playing a medley. So I think we could have a wee listen here. This is great. It's a great sound, still to this day. It was a nice, steady band. And I can see where your steadiness came from, actually, right through that. You influence a lot of bands that way. We'll talk about that a wee bit as we go along, I think, because it's pretty cool. So here is Ballinderry Bridge. Great stuff.
Crack set.
It was a trip down memory lane.
Well, it's great, isn't it? And when you get back to it, you still think, gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember very well myself.
Yeah, brilliant. Did you?
So what was the next?
I just moved into the living room, guys. I think it was the Wi-Fi was breaking up the last time, so hopefully it's a wee bit better.
So what was the next step then after Ballinderry Bridge? What was your next step?
So I say Bridge competed. Suppose 2007 year in Grade 1, and then like I said, a bit of a rumbly. I suppose we lost quite a few players in the back end, the drumming side of things, and I actually ended up taking 2008 out, which for a young lad of 16 or 17, he's eager to get at it, was quite hard. Sitting back as listening to the bands and not playing, but it was Ballinderry Bridge is my band, and it was that was the kind of thing. So when we came out into the practice of 2008, we kind of identified it wasn't going to happen. And then, of course, a decision to be made. So at that time, I was getting taught by Jonathan Greenlees, who was Piper Field Marshal, and an expression that would be kind of my next step if things weren't going to happen here, that I need to start looking elsewhere. And there was only one band I wanted to go to at that stage, and it was Field Marshal. I'd always followed them as well, but again, a young lad in Ballinderry, it seemed a big step up to that kind of level, 17 years of age. So, like I say, learned all the stuff, and I went up for just a practice through the stuff with Richard Parks at that time. And I remember being very nervous. Remember the knees knocking under the table and thinking, this is different. This band's different gravy. I don't know if I'm cut the mustard here. So then that was me from 2009 was my first season. So winter 2008 I joined Field Marshal, and I competed right to 2014. And then I done 1 year in 2017 when the New Zealand Police didn't go over, but we'll get so I done 6 with Field Marshal.
So from playing with Field Marshal and obviously playing with Shots now as Pipe Major, do you still got that same feeling when you're playing against Richard? That kind of butterfly in your stomach, thinking, oh, here we go.
No, it's good. At the end of the day, it's one of them things. You've asked a tricky question there. No, it's at the end of the day.
David, we promised we wouldn't ask any tricky questions, and then you come up with a blinder like that.
Oh, look. The easiest way to answer this is the respect's always there. Richard Parks is one of the people I hold highest in my regards to respects, and absolute legend. Of course, you're always going to have that. Suppose now you're competing against him. It is, you have to focus on yourself really, focus on the band. There's no point me being there twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, doing stuff behind the scenes, one-on-ones, till give in to anybody. So it's I'm focused purely and trying to take shots back to the top and take me back to the top. I'm very enthusiastic and driven that way. So. But thanks for that question, David. I'll remember that.
That's all right, mate. I'll get you a beer at the Worlds. It's fine. So,
listen, Davey, you're going to be walking along at the Worlds, and there's a coconut going to hit you in the back of the head.
A bit strong.
That's the worst thing about wearing the RAF tartan. It's the brightest, bluest tartan you can bloody get. So, as well as the band stuff, you did a bit of solo kind of playing, and you competed in the Pipe Idol in 2011 as well.
Aye. So the Pipe Idol is a part of the Piping Live for kind of up and coming young players. Then, so I'm assuming you're going to throw some up the past year on YouTube or something.
Oh yeah,
it could be interesting.
We have.
2 or 3 years I think I competed at it. Like it's usually just the way they done it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The Worlds, I had 4 competitors all over the world. It was kind of a knockout, 1 to 3 each day, and then you had the final.
Yep.
So I think I played 3 times. I made the final twice, and I never won it. But not worry about it.
Yeah, but hey, still great player. Here it is.
So here's your hornpipe and jig from 2011.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Do you remember that day?
Wish my fingers could still.
I do, but I don't ever. It's one of the things. I never ever listen to any stuff back of myself on YouTube. I always have a cringy, pick holes in it all the time. And even though, like I say, I think there's 20 or 21 there, you know, that's pretty solid for a 21-year-old. But like I say, I hate listening back to yourself playing. It's a wee bit. Oh, I wish I'd have done this different. I wish I'd have done that. Who let me do that? You know, things like that. It is what it is, eh?
I'm just working something out there, then. You're saying 20, what? So are you 31 years old now?
I am 30, 30,
And you're a pipe major of a grade 1 pipe band and one of the big ones in the world. That's quite amazing. That's an amazing feat.
Maybe
after Field Marshal, you went out to New Zealand and you as pipe major of the New Zealand Police. How did that all come about then?
Quite a strange one. When I was still playing in Field Marshal, I was invited over to help play at the McCrimmon Trophy in Lorient in 2000 and was it 2011 and 12. And I met the then Pipe Major of New Zealand Police over there, Ian Robertson, and kind of strike the bond with him. And he invited me over to play with the New Zealand Police 3 times as a guest player, just the 3 years over to the Nationals. So that's kind of how it all happened. That it was kind of, he sounded me out. I'm thinking of kind of stepping down. Well, what's your plans for the future? And at that stage, I was 23. I didn't aspire to be a Pipe Major of a Grade 1 band someday, but I didn't know when. I didn't know when the opportunity was going to come across, and then all of a sudden there's one come across to the far side of the world. So of course I jumped straight in. So no, that's how I ended up over there. I ended up over there in January 2015, officially as the Pipe Major, and I was there till August 2018.
Yeah, so 3 years. So when you working, did you have a job when you were over there as well? Then?
Yep, I'm an electrician by trade, so I was just doing sparky work from I got there till I left. Right.
Wow.
Nothing to do with the police. There was no. It was just a role. There was no paid position. Yeah. There was none of that.
So where was that band based then? Where was the band based in New Zealand?
So the North Island, Wellington, Windy Wellington, as they call it. It was a beautiful city, absolute gorgeous city. Aye.
Right, and that was a Grade 2 band when you went, was it? And went up to Grade 1, did it?
No, they were Grade 1. They were Grade 1 in 2004 or 5, right up. Right. When I took them over, no, they were Grade 1, but they were struggling to get players and things, just location wise, just because of how geographically challenged New Zealand was. It was, it was only so suppose somebody's going to correct me here. I think 6 million of a population, but the country was so long. You look at it in the map and think it's tiny, but because it's so long, people are spread everywhere. So people were driving 4 hours to an airport to fly over to Wellington. It wasn't, to play with a pipe band. It was hard going.
Yeah.
So it was. So when I went over there, it was education.
Pretty amazing, though, isn't it? But no, you're okay. But pretty amazing. You've got like that. There you go, 5 million. But you've got
you shot too high.
So Wellington, because there was City of Wellington as well. They were a Grade 1 band as well, weren't they?
Yes, they were. They were. They're still competing. I think they're Grade 3 now. City of Wellington, aye.
Yeah, but it's pretty amazing. So how many Grade 1 bands were there in New Zealand then?
There's 4 or 5. You've Canterbury, you have Manawatu, you have Invercargill, New Zealand Police, and you have Auckland District.
Yeah.
So you have 5 bands there now, aye.
Which is amazing, really.
Well, you think of it this way: there's 5 Grade 1 bands in a population of 5 million, and there's how many Grade 1 bands in Scotland at a population of 6 million?
I'd say usually you have a good turnout of 12, 14 maybe. 12, 14.
It's still impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
The standards is very solid. See, especially Grade 1 over there, it's very consistently solid, and it has been for multiple years. And now it's hard to imagine. Like I say, just taking into consideration what I just said there, you've, for example, you have parts of New Zealand are, kind of tropical weathers as such, and there's no moisture or too much moisture, and then you had to make use of your Saturday practices, because like I say, you had guys flying in from all over the country with different pipes, different pitches, and it was just a nightmare at times. You're pulling your hair out, but eventually after kind of Saturday, Sunday practice, but then the Sunday it was getting a bit better, and the pipes were acclimatizing to the Wellington sort of climate. You could leave right up solid practice. Yes. That was a step forward sort of thing.
Hard work as well, though. Hard work keeping it together. But we're going to listen to it. We're going to listen to a medley with the New Zealand Police here with you as Pipe Major. And one thing that struck me listening to all this stuff in the last 2 or 3 days, listening to New Zealand Police and then listening to Shots as well, which we're going to hear a bit later on, is it's very evident that you're a great leader from the top, and I love the controlled way you get your bands to play, exceptionally controlled tempos, and I just think it's fantastic. You can hear every intonation almost because of the, you're allowing the music time to breathe kind of style thing. Sometimes I feel a band goes out and they just lose it and rush it, but there's this amazing control, especially in the reels. I was loving the reels. I can't remember. Is this the one that finishes with the Little Cascade? Was this the set? Or was
I think the new Paradigm is the one, the New Zealand Police finished one. If you're
the
one I think it is.
Just an absolutely cracking tempos, cracking set. So let's have a wee listen to this under Pipe Major Conway, New Zealand Police. Yes. I love it. I love that. It's fantastic. Great sound.
Good day.
Can I ask, do you only play pipes or do you play other instruments?
I only play the pipes.
Right, okay. What about harmonies and all that with likes of the band there? Are you writing a lot of harmonies or?
Well, no matter what band I've been in, it's usually a group. We usually have what I would call just a small music committee, myself and two others really, and we sit down and, like I say, I would usually sound across the effect I'm trying to get, what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to build it, what we're trying to build, make it a journey, a musical journey as such. Opposed to it's very easy for bands to do 2 notes up, 2 notes down sort of thing. So you want to make sure that you want to grab the listener without overcomplicating it, or maybe get them to think, is that a discord? Was that a mistake? And so it's important to kind of keep it real, but be a wee bit different as well. So, like I say, even now in shots, there's me and two others that we would sit down musically and would talk through things, what I want, what I'm trying to affect, trying to build. And just any ideas you just throw out the table. There's no such thing as really a bad idea. Just get it out there, and if it doesn't work now, it might be the end thing in 10 years' time. As styles of music and medley construction always changes. So, and even same in New Zealand Police, at myself and two others there, we just sat down and went through it all and played their strengths. A different caliber of player. From what I'm playing with now in shots. So you always had to be careful not to overcomplicate it or make it too difficult, or starting to lose the listener. You're starting to lose the sound and tone of things. So no, it's good to have a couple of opinions around you. I always find it's good.
Yeah. I thought Davey was going to say something there. It wasn't.
No, you kind of hit it on the head there, Emmett. I find that some bands are overcomplicating their medleys because they think if they overcomplicate it, they've got a better chance of getting a prize. Whereas sometimes the simplest performances are the ones that kind of hit home.
And that's the thing as well. You have to bear in mind that, and just put yourself in a judge's shoes. If with the target in the back, if they're walking around a band and they're hearing a thing that maybe is perfect balance harmony, but they've never actually heard it before, so they might think it's a mistake. All of a sudden, they have a decision to make to go, oh, I was going to have this band first or second, but was that a mistake? Maybe I'll have third. Maybe third's enough. If two people think that, that's enough to put you second in a competition. If your scores elsewhere are up, but never give that judge any sort of doubt or any sort of room to go, that was a mistake. Because you'll never have the opportunity to challenge them to it. Nor you're not that you're going to do that either, but you've one chance at it. And it's the same way, sometimes you have to hear a medley once or twice to understand it. You want to hear the medley once to understand it.
I think so. And that last medley there's incredibly musical, very musical medley, and I think you're right. I think that hits the nail on the head, and it also made me think of, I remember way back when, say, the Valley Athol, when they went up into Grade 1 and that, they were a very progressive band and playing very progressive material, and it didn't always go down well with the judges, and I found it quite amusing that some of these jigs, etc., that they were playing, and everybody was like, oh, what's this new thing? And then I remember people like Strathclyde Police 10 years later suddenly introducing these tunes and still winning because everybody had become accustomed to hearing this stuff and thinking it was okay. So it's interesting.
It's something to remember, like even the things you talk about, you hear other even grade 2, grade 3 bands doing, and you hear people go, did you hear that? That wasn't great. But see, if the top band's done it in grade 1, people will be going, that's amazing. But then you still have the judge sitting behind the fence. No, I'm not sure. But it's because it wasn't the big band that tried this, or the big band that tried weren't these coloured socks at the start. It was silly looking, things like that. But then if you've got the name, you get away with it a wee bit more. But certainly, as you say, the veil was breaking through. they were doing a lot of Gordon Duncan stuff, and
Yeah.
Gordon Duncan was an amazing solo, but some people weren't getting it. But obviously, you
No.
see, all of a sudden, 6-7 years later, his tunes were coming alive, and all our big bands were playing it, and all of a sudden, it was brilliant.
It was
Anything,
incredible.
It always was brilliant,
It's just strange how it goes, isn't it? It's just the way it goes. We're getting you here in the southern hemisphere, that's for sure. You sent me this wee video yesterday that you got for Australia. Tell us a wee bit about that one. What was this for?
It was so I think the one you're on about, I think it was a recital I done in the McLean Highland Games in Australia. So the kind of the competition was on the Saturday, and I judged it, and then myself and Richard Hawke done a recital that night. It was just a very casual, laid back sort of recital. It was planned, but it wasn't planned. Just take your pipes out whenever you're ready. And so you say it was one of the young fellas. I knew he was at it. I messaged him last night, young Fergus Russell. I gave him a mention. He'll be all chuffed. I messaged to ask if he had any material from it. He sent through that, I think that Dal McLeod slower, Malcolm Ferguson, and Richard Dwyer in the hard drive, which was just two tunes of recycled from the Field Marshal days.
I still find this incredible that at this point, what age were you at this point? About 25 years old or something, and you're working along with people, judging with people like Richard Hawkins. It's incredible how you've done this. Incredibly amazing. It's amazing how young you are and doing this already. It's quite incredible. Amazing. Well, now we listen to this one. This is cracking.
Here we go.
That's great point, sir. Fantastic. Yeah. It must have been great fun traveling about. Everywhere you went.
Day, it was 40 degrees. It was 40 degrees heat. You can see the sweat bubbling off you. Hot day.
That's what I was just going to say to you. It must have been difficult traveling about down there when the temperature changed and all the time.
Oh, it give you a different perspective, really, of how different ambience and temperatures affect the pipes. It's unreal.
Yeah, all we have to put up was cold and wait.
Yeah.
Cold and wait.
It must be great for the Southern Hemisphere when they have. We've all got water traps to stop the moisture getting to the reed, and they're doing the other way around, trying to get moisture to the reed.
I pretty much. They tried everything over there. There was ice cubes in the bag, and there was, different things. Let it slowly melt, and let the water eventually come through the key and that. But I tried everything under the sun as well. I was just trying to get it. I was all down, like they say, the actual precision timing of tuning, when to tune, don't tune too early, short bursts, get moisture, things that, like I say, yeah, you do differently over here, but it was, like I say, it took me 2 or 3 years to master it.
That's one of the techniques that Paul Hughes used with us, because Paul's dad is our pipe major, and he got us to a point where we're going on at 4 minutes past 2. We only tune up 45 minutes beforehand, because by the time you get there, your pipe should be singing anyway, and if they're not, then you're not playing. So it's as simple as that. There's that bit where you can over kind of warm
absolutely,
up, and then that kind of throws it all to pot anyway.
Emma, I can see why you took this job back in Scotland. I couldn't be faffed with ice cubes and bags and things.
Well, I only tried that once. But to be fair, there was bands, and I would do it more for solos. I would have done it, but it was always a risk doing it with the band. Just somebody put too big an ice cube in, somebody put too small an ice cube in. It was just it was right. Let's do away with this. Let's get the timing more precise, and so many factors to take in. Like I say, you drive 2 hours that way. There's no humidity. You drive 2 hours that way. It's cold. You get a cold wind. You'd never do the same when it keeps day. Certainly over my 3 years there.
Yeah.
So bringing us up to present date, you're back in Scotland. You've been back for about 3 years.
I come back in November 2018. Over here.
And you've taken over trucks and Whitehead.
That's right. I kind of, like I say, it was about this week actually. 3 years ago to the very date. This week was my first band practice. This incoming week, just like I say, officially meeting the guys and girls and going from there. It's hard to think that's 3 years ago. I've only had one season due to COVID, but some time to make up for. So over here, started going out with my now fiance Laura, who's also a piper in the band. She's from Damali up Damali way. And like I say, we just 2019 then I would call it a difficult year. It was just for the reason you're taking over from Ryan Canning. He took the band to win the Worlds in 2015, and that group of guys and girls he had was his band, guys that were there for him. So it was hard trying to try to reassure them, who's this lad coming in here. He's been 3 years over in New Zealand, and he had quite a young band, so some of them had never heard of me, essentially. So it was always going to be taking a risk of we'll stay a year or two, or what's going on. And then it was, like I say, between 14 and 17 pipers the whole year. It was the smallest band, I believe, in grade 1 that year, which shouldn't really make a difference. But like I say, we started off. First one was Paisley, and like I say, just talking about temperatures and setting up a band, it was one of them things where you could blow an hour and a half over in New Zealand, and Paisley it was lashing down. You had 15 minutes, So the performance was, let's say, a little waterlogged. So I learned from my mistakes in that one. But as the season went on, the band got better, progressed, and that was kind of the aim, was kind of to steady the ship up, put in good performances, and then, like I say, use it as an advertising base to get players to join what I would say my band, my touch, the band I'm wanting to build going forward. And we've done that. And like I say, even with a couple of good performances, the Worlds 2019, and then, like I say, we had Pipers flying in through the door. And like I say, but enough to create another band at one stage. But I kind of had a cut-off point of like a solid 25 to 27. Was kind of the cut-off point, and you know we lost very little players for traveling reasons or study or whatever it was, and everybody else is stuck in there, and we're ready to go for it again. So that's kind of the plan for next year, is just to, like say, go hard, show people that with even the 2-year break, we're working hard for this. We're not taking this lightly. We're not just letting it exist in the middle of the grade,
No, I think that Worlds performance you talk about, you got a first in piping and one of the bits, didn't you?
We did. The Saturday heat, we had a first and second in piping, which won us the piping overall, which was a really nice finish to the season. We were really trying to focus on getting the top 6 for the Worlds, and it was like it was maybe a reach too far, but you have to dream big, as they say. But just with the current pattern of results and performances, we were getting better and getting better. It was just nearly too late. It felt as far as trying to break that top 6. So like I say, we come off in the medley, and it's just one of them ones, you nail it. And I remember coming off going, that's what we've been practicing for all year, and it's a time to do it on the big platform, and it leaves you in a positive foot going into the next season, into that winter. So it was a surprise, and it wasn't a surprise. The performance was very good. Still loads of things to fix and pick out, as you always, everybody can pick holes in the performance, but it was certainly from Paisley to the Worlds. Within that space of May, June, July, August, 4 months, it was 2 different performances, really.
Yeah,
fantastic. And the band is sounding great, and it's definitely good. I remember seeing that on the television, and I remember Bob Worrell coming in after with his wee bit. He always comes in and speaks, and he said, "Pipe Major Emmett Conway, this young man is here, and it's obvious he's stamping his sound onto this band already." And he's absolutely right, because as I was trying to compare earlier there, you could see how you've created a sound with the police, with the New Zealand police, and I can see that transferring now to here, and I think it's going to be very, very successful. I can only wish you the best. I think it's going to be really good. We couldn't get that World's particular one, but we do have one from, where did we think we were? The UK one, was it?
UK's,
UK Championships, I believe we talked about.
Yeah. So we're going to have a wee listen to that one, and then we'll catch you before we go. That'll be good. So here we go. Medley time. Great. fantastic.
There you go.
I had to pick the dog up because it's whinging. Never mind.
Not bad, is it?
No, it wasn't that bad. No, I think the band's sounding great there, and I think I think there's going to be a lot of success in the future for you guys. Are going to be watching it for you.
Thanks, Peter.
If you want me to come down at the Worlds next year and go around the other Grade 1 bands kidding on them here and things, I'm good at that. I can wander around, and just annoy people.
I'll hold you to that. I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, but no, great fun and absolutely brilliant. Smashing meeting you, and wish you all the success with the band. To be honest, it's going to be great. And I really hope we get a good season. Hope we get a good season out of this, and it'll be good. And did you say you got engaged as well lately as well?
Aye, just in June past. June past. So.
Well, all the best with that. And if you need a band for the wedding, remember I'm pretty. I'll come to a deal for you. It's okay. Don't worry.
I'll hold you to that. I'll tell you what. I'm coming here in the 22nd of January. The Celtic Connections. I'll come for a listen there at the Piping Centre.
Looks like we're in the Piping Centre that night. That'd be magic. And then
the Park Bar. It might be to hear you a second time in the Park Bar the next day with a wee drum or something, just to be sure, you know.
The boys in my band don't like hanging out at bars, but I've forced them to go there, you know. So that's one of the things.
Very good.
Listen, thanks very much, Emmett. You take care. All the best for the future. I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot of it. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, David.
All the best.
Peter. All the best, guys. Cheers.
I find it absolutely stunningly amazing that somebody so young can get so high in a musical career. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I mean, I know I'm only 35 and working towards it, but 35 stone maybe. Did I ever tell you, Davey? When I lost a pound once, and I thought I'd done really well. And one of my pals said that me losing a pound was like the Queen Mary losing a deck chair.
Yep. Insignificant.
Horrible.
Speaking of insignificant, plans this week, Pierre?
But Viola says this wee dog's spoiled.
Yeah.
This wee dog was nearly made into a pipe bag there earlier on about Kate Barker. Vi's heard. I let Vi into a wee secret that you might be going over to Milnerthorpe for a wee cameo appearance.
I might come there for a wee cameo appearance. You put 23rd of January.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah, it's only 40 minutes down the road. Can he not turn up?
Well, that's it. It'd be nice to see you anyway and have a tune. That'd be good. Right, we've got a wee bit of news, folks. What we thought we'd start doing, we always announced our guests the Wednesday before a show, which isn't really that long for people to plan things, because we know months in advance most of the time who's coming on. So we may as well tell you, and then if it's somebody you really want to see, well, you can plan around it. That makes more sense.
And you can
if you want to see it live, but you can always watch them back recorded as well.
Aye.
But the thing is, if you want to see it live and join in with a live crack, we thought we'll start now at the end of every Sunday show. We'll just announce who's on next week, and then we'll put the posters up. So we've got one guest next week because the
one guest, yeah,
is kind of done an awful lot.
Yeah.
So, and you know better than I do. So
I do.
I think we should possibly tell everybody who we've got coming on next week.
So I've been working with this gentleman since 2006. When I was working on his website and be working on his books, etc. He's the Piper's Piper, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of these folks that every Piper loves his performances and just loves him in general. He plays Highland bagpipes, he plays small pipes, real pipes, Ulan pipes, and whistles. Yeah, he's a all-rounder, and he's always got a story or two to tell as well. So
Yeah.
we're hoping to get a few stories next week. We have the one, the only, Mr. Fred Morrison joining us next week.
There's
And
nobody like Fred.
There's nobody like Fred, and we're really looking forward to seeing him.
It's going to be brilliant. And getting a chat with Fred. So we're just having a one-off show next week with Fred.
Yes.
And so we'll probably be on for about an hour and a half, folks. If you
Yeah.
like piping, if you like folk music, if you like good crack, this is the show for you.
Yes.
And we'll schedule it up and get it put out for you. That'll be
So,
good.
like, comment, share the post, and tell everyone who's everyone. I
Yeah,
believe
we'll get that up.
we're on Music from Scotland next week as well, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We're on Music from Scotland next week as well.
However, I may be a bit worse for wear depending on what Saturday's result is.
What's on Saturday?
The MG Alba Scottish Trad Music Awards.
Oh, what's it going? Oh yeah, we're up for an award. We're nominated.
Yes, yes, we are, Peter.
Yes, you never know. You never know. We might be crying in our soup, or we might be.
You never know.
One of them. Anyway, that's something to look forward to. Something to look forward to for next week, folks. Yeah, we've got that to watch out for as well. I think that's on the television on Saturday night as well. Actually.
It is. Give me 2 seconds. I'll tell you. It's on BBC Alba.
That's a show to watch out for, the Trad Awards on BBC Alba, folks.
What's it? It's the 9 at 9 o'clock.
Sometime
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on BBC Alba. Hosted by Mary Ann Kennedy and Alistair Heather.
Brilliant.
Sounds good.
And then, so we can have that on Saturday night, and then we can have Fred Morrison on Sunday night. What a weekend!
What a weekend!
Right, it's good night from me and Luna.
And good night. I will see you after. See you after.
See you after, and we'll sort out the posters. Right.
Aye.
See you later, folks. Thanks for joining us again. It's been a great night. Thanks very much to John Burns and Emmett Conway. Smashing people. Great of them to share their Sunday nights with us and share their amazing talents in music. Brilliant. Mm-hmm. Take care out there. Be safe.
Bye, Peter.
Take care.
Bye, Luna.
Bye.
Luna. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.